The first time we met, she was driving a Porsche Panamera. That night, after drinking with clients, I sat drunkenly by the roadside. I had just lit a cigarette pulled from my pocket when a red coupe suddenly stopped in front of me. The window rolled down to reveal a female, driver quite young, with a ponytail, an oval face, and a hint of baby fat resembling Haley Steinfeld. "Hey, can I bum a cigarette?" She waved at me. These days, even Porsche owners have to bum cigarettes from strangers. I looked down at the 8-pack of Marlboro Lights in my hand, feeling slightly embarrassed. After a moment's hesitation, I still offered her a cigarette. She held the cigarette between her lips, leaning slightly out the car window. We were so close, I could catch the faint woody scent of her perfume. I took out my lighter and lit her cigarette. "Thanks," she said. She didn't seem to care much about the smoke sitting in the car and slowly exhaling. We smoked in silence, the atmosphere slightly awkward. This girl was clearly from a wealthy family, while I was just a working stiff making $3,000 a month. We really didn't have much to talk about. The cigarette was nearly finished. I took one last deep drag, crushed the butt under my foot, and tossed it into the nearby trash bin. As I was about to leave, she called out to me, "Hey." I turned my head, and she waved at me. "What's up? Where to get in? I'll give you a ride, one cigarette, save me $20 on an Uber." And here, I was riding in a Porsche with a beautiful woman at the wheel. This deal is simply too good to be true, yet I hesitated. In the dead of night, a strange woman wants to give me a ride just because she took a cigarette from me. As the old saying goes, even boys need to protect themselves when they're out and about. I couldn't help but feel uneasy. "Quit dawdling, what afraid? I'll eat you," she urged. After hesitating for a moment, I steeled myself. What could a wealthy beauty driving a luxury car possibly want from a penniless guy like me? "My money, sorry, my pockets are emptier than my face, my looks." "Come on, I'm just an average Joe, neither ugly nor handsome, neither tall nor short, the kind who gets 0-second glances on the street." I opened the car door and had barely settled into the passenger seat when she floored the accelerator, sending the car lurching forward. The acceleration is exhilarating. This is what a premium car feels like. Just as I was about to give my address, she spoke first. "I'm in a bad mood. Will you have a drink with me?" So she borrowed a cigarette from me just to strike up a conversation. 24 years of living, and this is a first. Still reeling from the surprise, she continued, "Let us grab some drinks on the way and head to your place." This is way too straightforward. In the dead of night, a girl wants to come home with me for drinks. The implication couldn't be more obvious. If I said I wasn't tempted, I'd be lying. But here is the problem. I'm broke as hell. There's no way I can take her back to my tiny pigsty like 10 square meter studio. A hotel that would seem way too intentional, definitely not an option either. Besides, my bank balance is only enough for one night at a motel. I was quite tipsy, but instantly became much more sober. Seeing no response from me, she smiled and asked, "What's wrong? Don't want to buy me a drink?" I quickly denied, No, just wait a moment, let me get my phone to set up navigation." In this situation, after much deliberation, I had no choice but to turn to my good buddy Mike for help. The guy is a genuine rich second-generation heir, owning multiple properties, a real multimillionaire. I texted him, "Buddy, emergency, can I borrow your penthouse on the hill for one night?" He replied instantly, "What's the situation? Me might bring a girl over tonight." Mike immediately understood and sent me the door code without another word. My anxious heart finally settled down on the way I chatted with her intermittently. She said she was born in 1998 and didn't tell me her real name. "Just call me Chloe," she said. I cleared my throat and introduced myself roughly like this. Leo, 25 years old, an ordinary office worker, but my family is well off with several properties. That's right, to keep up appearances, I borrowed Mike's identity and crafted myself a trust fund persona. The more insecure a person is, the more pretentious they become. I casually asked, "What does your family do?" Chloe lazily replied, "Oh, just some small business." "A small business that can afford a 100,000 Panamera? Give me a break." I have a friend who works at a Porsche 4S dealership, and he told me that almost all Panamera owners have assets exceeding $1 million. She was clearly brushing me off. 20 minutes later, we arrived at the apartment building. I bought a case of beer and some snacks from the convenience store downstairs. Upstairs, I entered the door lock code. I was already pretty nervous the whole way here, but the moment I opened the door and stepped inside, the sight before me made me jump in fright. In the living room, a young couple was passionately kissing while cuddling on the sofa. I froze in place. Holy shit, what the hell is going on? The couple noticed Chloe and me, and they froze too. The four of us just stood there staring at each other, confusion written all over our faces. Chloe looked at me with suspicion. I took a step back, glanced at the door number 17. Oh, no mistake here. Since I was at the wrong place, and these two knew the password to get, and they must know Mike. I remembered Mike mentioning before that he had a cousin who used to borrow his place to throw parties with a bunch of youngsters, leaving the house in a mess, so he stopped lending it out. I figured it out and calmly walked over, asking the guy, "What is going on? Why didn't you give a heads up before coming? And who is this?" Their faces flushed red as they quickly pulled apart. The guy looked dazed and stammered, "Oh, this is Jenna." Before he could continue, I cut in and smiled at Jenna. "Hello, nice to meet you." Then I casually introduced Chloe to them. saying she was my friend. After barely managing to smooth over this unexpected encounter, I secretly pulled the guy into the room. We confessed our true identities to each other. Sure enough, this guy was Mike's cousin. He sneaked in with his new girlfriend without telling Mike. Buddy, please don't tell Mike, okay? Save me some face. I just started dating this girl, and if I get kicked out tonight, it'll be hard to explain. He pleaded with me, looking utterly miserable. ID initially planned to tell Mike directly, but then it occurred to me if I got this guy thrown out, and he retaliated by exposing me in anger wound that ruined everything tonight. So I had to placate him, first promising not to tell Mike today, and that we'd deal with it tomorrow. We reached an agreement and returned to the living room where Chloe and that girl were already chatting. Chloe, excitedly, said to me, "We were just discussing whether the four of us could gather for a game of poker. It's perfect since you have cards at home. What do you think?" What a wave of frustration clogged my chest, and my blood pressure rose a little. Call fold, raise another 100. I wonder would have thought that what was supposed to be a wonderful night, with just the two of us alone in a room, turned into a four-person poker game. To make matters worse, my cousin and his girlfriend won several $100s from me. The poker game didn't end until 6 in the morning. Finally, my cousin and his girlfriend left, leaving only Chloe and me. I had drunk quite a bit with clients yesterday, and after playing poker all night, I was completely exhausted, dizzy, unsteady on my feet, and ready to pass out the moment my head hit a pillow. I young Chloe, I can't keep my eyes open anymore. I need to sleep for a while. What about you? I'm exhausted, gonna take a nap. With that, she didn't stand on ceremony and casually picked a room to sleep in, waving at me with a smile as she closed the door. Good morning, sleep. Well, yeah, you too. The door slammed shut with a bang, and I could only shake my head with a wry smile. Lying in bed, unsure how long I slept, I faintly heard knocking in my drowsy state. Thinking it was just a dream, I ignored it, rolled over, and pulled the covers over my head to keep sleeping. It was until I felt someone tugging at my blanket that I finally opened my eyes. At that sight, my heart immediately raced and my face flushed crimson. Chloe bent down to pull up my blanket. Her face, just a foot away from mine. She had just showered, her long hair cascading down the damp ends, brushing against my shoulder, cool, silky, and ticklish. The faint scent of her shower gel wafted over me, instantly snapping me awake. It's almost 2 in the afternoon. If you don't get up now, it'll be dark. Come on, let us go grab lunch. Her big eyes blinked, lips curving into a slight captivating smile as she gently tugged at my left arm with both hands. Honestly, this moment feels wonderful. Sunlight streams through the gap in the curtains as lovebirds playfully tussle on the bed, even though we've known each other for less than 24 hours. I even closed my eyes again, wanting to prolong this feeling. Hey, why are you falling asleep again? If you don't get up, I'm pulling the covers off, she said, releasing my arm with playful menace. I chuckled and teased her, deliberately, go ahead, as long as you're not embarrassed about it. She rolled her eyes at me and suddenly grabbed the blanket, yanking it off. Holy shit, I exclaimed in shock. I hadn't expected her to actually do it, and curled up in fright, desperately clutching the corner of the blanket. Thankfully, I wasn't sleeping naked today. I still had my underwear on otherwise. Oh, no way, why aren't you wearing any clothes, you exhibitionist? Chloe quickly turned her head away, her face flushing crimson in an instant. I didn't think you'd actually dare to lift it, and besides, who sleeps in their outerwear? My face flushed red. You should go out first. I'll get up right away. After getting dressed and washing up, I walked into the living room. Chloe was sitting on the sofa, scrolling through her phone, and she'd already cleared away the liquor bottles and trash from the table. She stole a glance at me, then quickly looked away. I cleared my throat softly and said, let us go get lunch. Anything particular you'd like to eat? Whatever, truth be told, I'm feeling quite uneasy right now, unable to figure out Chloe's thoughts. Will we just go our separate ways after lunch, never to contact each other again? Should I ask her out for another meeting? But after all, I'm not actually a rich second-generation heir, and the gap between our family backgrounds is as vast as a chasm. Sitting in the Panamera, my mind wandered the entire ride. The car stopped at a gas station. Chloe went out to refuel, while I sat inside, lost in wild thoughts. Suddenly, Chloe knocked on the car window, waving her phone in her hand. My card acting up. Can you cover the gas for me? Why didn't catch it at first? Chloe raised her voice. I said, lend me $1,000. Driving a $100,000 Porsche Panamera, but can't afford gas. Though it made no sense and was downright bizarre, I still borrowed $1,000 from Cash App and sent it to her. After that, we had lunch together, KFC, costing less than $30. Yep, I paid for that too, from our midnight meeting last night until 3 p.m. today, 15 hours in total. During this time, I treated her to food and drinks totaling $213 in expenses. Lost $360 playing poker, and now I've lent her another $1,000. Total expenditures exceed $573. I'm growing suspicious. Could she be a scammer, just here for free meals and drinks? After eating and drinking our fill, I asked her where she planned to go next. Come with me to the supermarket. I need to buy some things, then we'll go back together. Go back, where to your place? I stared at her blankly like a dumbstruck goose. She continued, didn't you say yesterday, you don't often live in this apartment. How about this? I'll rent it for half a month, name your price, and I'll transfer the money to you later. My brain short-circuited. How did this turn into her forcing her way into moving in? This definitely 1T worked the house, isn't even mine, I'm screwed. It's all my fault for getting carried away by hormones last night, thinking I'd hit the jackpot. Well, now I'm stuck with this clingy situation, can't shake it off no matter what. At this point, my pride keeps getting the better of me, so I'm stubbornly trying to keep up the act. I sent Mike another text message telling him about the situation and asking if I could continue renting the house for a while paying the rent as usual. Mike replied, sure, sounds like you've hooked a rich, beautiful girl. Just keep living there for now, no big deal. What a true friend. I was genuinely touched. After that, I accompanied Chloe to the supermarket to buy some daily necessities. During the trip, she mentioned voluntarily that she had recently had a big fight with her family, and it got so bad that they froze her accounts at SYCS, so broke right now. I asked her what kind of family conflict could be so serious. It's not about forcing you into an arranged marriage with some rich heir, is it? Chloe widened her eyes at me. How did you know that's exactly what is happening? I scratched my head, isn't that how it always goes in the movies. I just threw it out there casually, didn't expect to actually guess right. We didn't pursue the topic further, though I'm a bit of straight guy slow on the uptake. I'm not an idiot. The situation she described wasn't just similar to movie tropes, it was identical. I don't believe it at all. I seriously doubt her claim of being a rich second-generation heiress. Her explanation was that she had a falling out with her family, cutting off her financial support. But why wouldn't she turn to friends instead of clinging to a complete stranger like me? Moreover, she refuses to talk about her family at all, clearly hiding something. Or maybe the Porsche was even hers, that's entirely possible. The more I thought about it, the more convinced I became that this girl had some serious issues. As we walked out of the supermarket and approached the car, a sudden idea struck me. God, I thought of a way to investigate Chloe's background. Every car has a vehicle identification number VIN. If I could just get the VIN and have my friend who works at Porsche check it, I could find out whether this car really belonged to her. I quickly looked it up online. The VIN is located on the dashboard on the passenger side. I sat in the passenger seat and quickly snapped a photo while Chloe was loading things into the trunk. Back home, I excused myself to smoke in the stairwell and called a friend who worked at Porsche. I sent him the vehicle identification number and asked him to help me look up the owner's information. Around 7 in the evening, my friend texted me, found the owner's info. It's a woman named Chloe Zhang, born in 98. Born in 98, Chloe Zhang, Chloe. So she really was the owner of that car. A friend asked, do you know what this Chloe Zhang's family does? Me friend, they run a logistics company, quite a large-scale operation. Me, oh my God. So they're seriously wealthy friend, but I heard their business has been having issues lately, might be close to bankruptcy. By the way, how do you know her? I was too stunned to speak at all. Makes sense now. Everything makes perfect sense. She was indeed a rich second generation, but that was in the past. It's also true that she freeloaded meals and drinks in front of me. She kept up the facade of a wealthy, beautiful socialite. To be fair, I wasn't too much better putting on airs while living in a tiny 10-square-meter studio, claiming to be a trust fund kid and using my buddy's fancy apartment to boost my image. A bankrupt rich kid and a fake rich kid, both hilarious and heartbreaking. Life is truly more dramatic than movies. Back in the living room, Chloe was watching TV. It was an urban comedy playing on the screen. Chloe suppressed her giggles, occasionally letting out goose-like laughter. I'd been deceived, yet looking at her, I couldn't muster any anger. To be honest, this girl Chloe was rather pitiable, having sunk to scamming meals from strangers. She definitely wouldn't have done this if she hadn't been truly desperate. Men are always too soft-hearted. For the next 2 weeks, we lived together. Well, that's not quite accurate. We shared the same space, but not the same bed. On days I didn't work overtime, I'd buy groceries, and we'd cook and eat together. On weekends, we usually went to a bar for a couple of drinks. To outsiders, we looked like a cohabiting couple. The truth is our relationship defies definition. Roommates, friends. I often think it wouldn't be so bad if we just kept living like this forever. But these were just my wishful thoughts. After all, I'm just a fake rich kid. The truth was bound to come out eventually. What I didn't expect was for that day to arrive so abruptly. On Saturday, Chloe and I drove to a bar I frequent. The familiar bartender looked utterly astonished to see me accompanied by such a beauty. Under his gaze, I instinctively straightened my back and lifted my chin. The music in the bar was rather loud. She leaned close to my ear, her warm breath brushing against the nape of my neck. This is too boring. Let us play a game. How about truth or dare? Sure, I'll choose dare. After all, even my identity is fake. There's no way I could tell the truth. Chloe rolled for I gave the dice a vigorous shake and opened my hand to reveal a 6. Chloe looked at me with pitiful eyes. I grinned mischievously. Don't worry, I want to go easy on you. Truth or dare? I really wanted her to choose truth, to ask her what she thought of me. A hint of hesitation flashed across Chloe's face. I choose dare. An idea struck me, and I hatched a plan. Your task is I leaned close to her ear to give me a kiss. I deliberately met her gaze. I expected her to shy away or refuse, but to my surprise, she gently kissed my left cheek without hesitation. This completely caught me off guard. I took a big gulp of alcohol to hide my nervousness. Suddenly, someone tapped me on the shoulder from behind, startled. I turned to see a guy I didn't recognize, around 20 years old, with a middle-parted fringe and a shiny Rolex Submariner Hulk on his wrist. "Can I help you?" The middle-parted guy glanced at me, smiled, then shifted his gaze to Chloe. "Is this your boyfriend?" Chloe exhaled a puff of smoke and tilted her head up. "Yeah, what about it?" Me boyfriend, though it wasn't true. I couldn't help feeling a little secretly pleased. The middle-parted guy pulled over a chair and sat beside me, giving me a sidelong glance full of ill intent. Tisk, your taste is really questionable. Since when did you start liking this type? Chloe, you seem to have some serious issues. Go sit somewhere else and stop ruining our drinks. Can old friend chat for a bit? Why so worked up? Let us have a drink together. Oh right, this round S on me. No need. Chloe glared at the middle-parted man. Why the courtesy? I know all about your family situation. Heard something happened recently. Your dad seems to be. Shit, this is bad. Just as the middle-parted man was about to expose Chloe, the fist I'd been clenching finally couldn't hold back anymore. Go fuck yourself. Before he could finish, I threw a sharp hook that smashed into the corner of his mouth, sending him toppling backward off his chair. I don't know what his relationship with Chloe is, but clearly he is aware of her family situation. His subsequent remarks were obviously meant to mock and humiliate Chloe by bringing up her family's bankruptcy and misfortune. What a despicable opportunist. No matter what, I must defend Chloe's last shred of dignity and decency. Damn you. After being hit by me, the middle-parted man immediately sprang up and delivered a vicious kick toward me. I was prepared and sidestepped the attack. Enraged by the humiliation, the middle-parted man lunged at me, and we became entangled in a scuffle, tearing at each other. Chloe wanted to separate us, but with two grown men wrestling fiercely, how could a girl possibly pull us apart? Soon 4 or 5 bar security guards rushed over and forcibly pulled us apart. The middle-parted man called over the bar owner and started cursing at me. "Aren't you just some poor country bumpkin, a toad, lusting after swan as flesh, a penniless loser with no house or car, fucking salesman? Why don't you take a piss and look at your own reflection?" Everything he said was true. Blood rushed to my head as I glanced back at Chloe. Her expression was unreadable. I opened my mouth wanting to retort, but couldn't find the right words. The bar owner patted me on the shoulder. "Buddy, better avoid trouble than invited this guy. That's not someone to mess with. You should leave now." I stared at the bar owner, itching to slap him across the face. No need to say it, this punk must be spilled everything about me to the center-parted guy. The middle-parted man continued mocking me. "A few $1,000s a month. Can't even feed yourself. Yet you come to bars to pick up girls." I wanted to rush forward and punch him again, but Chloe stopped me. "You know why I can't stand you? Because you're not just a simp, you're a rabid dog. Think you're hot shit. A toad in designer clothes is still a toad, just a dumbass with some stinking money." Every word struck home. The middle-parted man, as face flushed crimson with rage, breathing heavily as he glared at us with murderous eyes, momentarily speechless. Chloe grabbed my hand and quickly pulled me out of the bar. My body felt disconnected from my brain, dazed and sluggish, unable to react as I let her lead me forward. Who would have thought the fake rich kid persona would be exposed so suddenly? Only after returning home did I start to regain some clarity. Since my identity had already been exposed, there was no point in continuing the charade. Might as well come clean, Chloe. Actually, I paused. I'm not some rich heir at all. This apartment belongs to a buddy of mine. I'm just a regular worker, making $3,000 a month, sometimes 4 if I'm lucky. Chloe remained silent, quietly listening to me speak. At this moment, I finally shed my disguise and surprisingly felt much lighter. I lowered my head, too embarrassed to look at Chloe. She stood up, walked over to me, and gently touched the bruise on my chin with her hand. "Does it hurt?" I shook my head. She opened her mouth, hesitated for a moment, said nothing, then turned and walked into her room. I also returned to my room and lay on the bed. My body didn't feel any pain at all, but my heart felt unbearably heavy. My mind was completely occupied with thoughts about how to handle our relationship moving forward. Would she leave? Does she look down on me? Before I knew it, I had fallen asleep. I woke up very early the next day. I'm a light sleeper. The slightest noise can wake me. I heard footsteps outside the door, and after a while the sound of a door closing. Stepping out of the bedroom, I found the living room empty. Walking to Chloe's bedroom door, I gently pushed it open. The blanket was neatly spread on the bed, and the trash had already been cleared away. Apart from a faint, lingering scent, there was no trace of Chloe left. She was gone after all. A few minutes later, Chloe sent me a text message with just one short sentence. "I had something to take care of and left first. Thank you for taking care of me these past few days." Every word struck my heart like a hammer blow, hurting far more than last night's punches and kicks. People often lack self-awareness. After that, Chloe and I never contacted each other again. My life returned to normal, commuting to work day after day, spending weekends holed up at home playing video games. However, I developed a new habit, checking Chloe's Instagram every day. A week after we broke up, she posted a photo of herself drinking whiskey, alone, only half her face visible in the dim lighting. A month after the breakup at 3 in the afternoon, she was at a cafe having coffee with 2 other girls. 2 months later, she shared several photos of the family dinner, Chloe, smiling, so wide her eyes disappeared, revealing 2 rows of gleaming white teeth. The gathering wasn't at a restaurant, but rather in what seemed to be a villa. The living room was spacious and bright with exquisite solid-wood furniture. It appears Chloe has resumed her identity as a wealthy heiress. After exiting her Instagram, I really wanted to send her a message to ask how she has been doing. I typed and deleted and retyped the words, "How have you been lately?" But in the end, I never sent it. Forget it, we were never meant to walk the same path. Stop torturing yourself and face reality. As if guided by some supernatural force, I clicked on Chloe's profile picture, then tapped the options in the upper right corner. At the very bottom, unfollow now. This should sever all connections completely. I thought that would be the end of it, but then again, ISNT life, just a series of ups and downs and downs and downs. That day, I had just returned home from work when a landlady came knocking smiling at me. "Leo, the first need to talk to you about something." "Mom, go ahead." "Well, here's the thing, you need to move out this weekend." I was stunned for a moment. Move out, where my lease still has 6 months left. "Mom, you must be joking, the lease period ISNT up yet. It's like this, my son is getting married next year. So we need to renovate the house and can't continue renting it to you. But don't worry, we'll refund the remaining rent and give you an extra half month as payment as compensation." The words of rebuttal stuck in my throat, unable to come out. Finally, I sighed. Fine, what good would it do to keep arguing with the landlord anyway? Refused to move out and stubbornly stay here. That would just invite endless trouble down the road. Fortunately, the landlord was decent enough to offer half a month as compensation. But here's the problem. Weekends are only 2 days long, and finding a suitable place that quickly ISNT easy. Just as I was worrying about it, Mike called and invited me out for drinks over the weekend. "Drinks, my landlord just kicked me out. I need to find a place and move this weekend." Hey, what a coincidence. I was just about to rent out my apartment. I hardly ever stay there. Anyway, perfect timing, you can be my tenant. I perked up with interest. "How much is the rent? I can't afford anything too expensive." "How much are you paying for your current place?" $1,200. "Deal, move in tomorrow." Once again, my good buddy came through at the crucial moment. And just like that, I returned to the place where I had once lived with Chloe. Looking at the familiar living room, all the little moments of life with Chloe came flooding back. A 200 square foot 2-bedroom apartment, just me living here, coming back to emptiness every day. To be honest, I'm still not used to it. Occasionally, when Mike had a fight with his girlfriend, he'd come over to drink and play video games with me. About half a month later on a Saturday morning, I was sleeping in when I heard voices in the living room. My first thought was that Mike had arrived, but upon closer listening, it wasn't Team Mike's voice. It sounded like a middle-aged man. I want to push the door open and go out, but just as I picked up my phone, I saw a text from Mike. "Mike, bro, my parents are on their way over. They suddenly decided to sell the apartment. I had no idea beforehand. So after only a few days of living here, I have to move again." I put on my clothes and walked out of the bedroom. I was just about to greet Mike's parents when I froze. I saw a familiar figure. She stood by the balcony window, turned her head to look at me. Our gazes met, and the corner of her mouth lifted slightly. After more than 100 days, Chloe and I met again. She wanted to buy this apartment. Leo S. up already today. We're showing the apartment to potential buyers. If it's suitable, it might be sold, though probably not that quickly. When the time comes, we'll have Mike help you rent another place. Mike's mother was explaining to me, but I didn't catch the rest of her words. I just stared blankly at Chloe. "I bought the apartment. Let us complete the transfer as soon as possible." Mike's mom didn't expect the buyer to be so straightforward. She rubbed her hands together awkwardly and glanced at me. "Leo, you see, you might have to move out in a few days since you haven't lived here long. We'll waive the rent." I forced a smile and nodded in understanding. "It's all right, Mom, I understand." Chloe interrupted us. "I want to be living in this apartment for now. You can rent it for me and just keep paying the rent as usual." Mike's mother clapped her hands happily beside them. "Oh my, that's just wonderful. Chloe became my landlord. What kind of plot twist is this?" Even after Chloe left with Mike's parents, I couldn't figure out why she would buy this apartment, and something fell off, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it. About 10 minutes later, someone rang the doorbell. Peering through the peephole, I saw Chloe standing outside. The moment I opened the door, Chloe punched me angrily in the chest, gritting her teeth, and saying, "Leo, you've got some nerve actually unfollowing me on Instagram." What if I said it was an accident? Would you believe me? I scratched my head, completely lacking confidence. "Like hell, I would. Why did you buy this apartment? Are you really that dumb? Or just pretending? Take a guess." I kept scratching my head. I guess just had too much money to spare. "Wrong, I did it to become a landlord or rent collector to exploit tenants like you." "Stop joking. Do you really need that extra $1,200 in rent?" "Who said exploitation has to be limited to rent?" Chloe raised one corner of her lips, squinting as her gaze wandered over me. "It could be something else too." Postscript time, November 3rd, 2020-23:00. Location, New Orleans. Characters, me, Chloe. Event, getting lost in the Big Easy at midnight. Didn't you say you researched the route beforehand? Where the hell are we now? Chloe crossed her arms and glared at me angrily. I did research it, but the map's unreliable. It clearly showed we should go straight. So how did we end up at a dead end on a one-way street? I rubbed my head in frustration. The streets of New Orleans were absolutely maddening, driving me to the brink of insanity. I had planned to take Chloe to a famous Creole restaurant, but after driving around for over half an hour, I couldn't find a place no matter how hard I tried. This city is a labyrinth. Even the most directionally gifted person would end up completely disoriented here. At first, I was cruising smoothly down a wide boulevard, but before I knew it, I somehow turned into a narrow alley. I pulled the Panamera over to the side of the road, got out, and lit a cigarette to calm my nerves. I scrimped and saved for a whole month just for this road trip with Chloe. This golden opportunity to deepen our relationship was right in front of me. I absolutely couldn't mess it up. Ever since Chloe became my landlady, we returned to our old roommate dynamic. Truth be told, I always known how she felt about me. Otherwise, she wouldn't have bought Mike's apartment in the first place. Looking back, I was really slow on the uptake about this whole thing. From my original landlord breaking the lease and kicking me out to Mike taking me in, and then Chloe suddenly appearing to buy Mike's apartment. These events were no coincidence at all. They were carefully orchestrated by Chloe and Mike together. But neither Chloe nor I ever brought it up. We both kept this matter unspoken between us. Of course, what remained unspoken was the nature of our relationship. So this trip to New Orleans, I planned to seize an opportunity to transition from being her roommate to becoming her boyfriend. But clearly now wasn't the right time, lost in the French Quarter in the dead of night, both of us starving. Do you smell that it's so fragrant? Chloe said as she got out of the car, wrinkling her nose. I took a deep breath too. There was indeed the rich aroma of soup in the air. That's the smell of okra soup. I can't take it anymore. I'm even hungrier now. Chloe ignored me, sniffing intensely as she followed the aroma down the street. I had no choice but to follow her. After walking about 100 meters, the scent grew overpowering. This had to be the place, a hidden Creole restaurant tucked away in the alley. Though it wasn't the one we'd been looking for, we couldn't care less at this point. Filling our stomachs came first. At midnight, the restaurant was still bustling with diners. The place was steaming hot, filled with the aroma of spices in the air. Crawfish, okra, gumbo, jambalaya, beignet, and finally a bread put in to top it off. Doused with Tabasco sauce, absolutely delicious. After finishing, both our faces were flushed red. It was already past 1 a.m. when we stepped out of the shop, walking one after the other. I turned my head to see her waving at me. She suddenly looked back. What are you spacing out for? Oh, nothing. I just think your dress looks really nice, I said, quickening my pace to catch up. Chloe gritted her teeth, glaring at me. Oh, so your focus is on the dress, not the person? Fine. I'll send you the link later. Buy one yourself and take a good long look. I don't mean it like that. I mean, this dress looks really good on you. That's not right either. Anyway, you look beautiful. Yeah, you'd look good in anything. So do you like it? Chloe leaned in close, her eyes fixed intently on me. My heartbeat quickened and I instinctively wanted to step back, but I gritted my teeth and took a small step forward instead. Now there were only a few inches between us. I could even hear her breathing becoming rapid and caught a strong whiff of garlic. For the first time, I didn't mind at all when someone who'd eaten garlic spoke and breathed right in my face. 3 seconds later, I decided to savor that scent properly. I gently embraced her, and she naturally closed her eyes. Soft. And then, well, this garlic smell is actually quite fragrant. The end.